Alexander wasn't there. I thought maybe it's the translation a problem. Am I getting something wrong there?
No, yes, but we are decreasing the number. And as I said, we here in Brazil, we had a lot of lawsuits against the state. The state sometimes interferes in the economy, and people like some goes alone, some goes with collective lawsuits. So everybody's suing everybody due to an economic plan, because sometimes, right now, our president dismissed the president of Petrobras, the Brazilian oil company, and hired a general, an army man for the
Wow.
for the place. And with this, Petrobras in one day lost $20 billion value in the stock exchange because it's intervention. But our president is very popular. He wants the price of the gasoline, the price of the fuel down in any way he can. So for me, in free market societies, the price is determined by a combination of factors. You have the international price, price of extraction, distribution. So for me, it's more technical than what's the price of gas I want to pay.
No problem.
But here in Brazil, we have this kind of things all the time.
Hi, Walid. Walid here once. How are you?
Hello, how is everybody?
Everyone's good.
Good morning, good evening.
Kathleen, definitely
Good morning and good evening, I guess. Right?
Yes.
Kathleen, you know Walid or not?
Hmm?
You know Walid, he's the ABA in the Dispute Resolution Committee.
Oh, it's nice to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you all. I'm sorry I haven't been attending. Thank you, Vikram, for your kind invitation. And I'm going to apologize. I have in about half an hour and I have to get ready for a meeting, but I wanted to make an effort to be here because you've been so gracious and I'm privileged to meet everybody here. I am currently in Charlottesville, Virginia. So it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of Washington, D.C., where I have my office in Arlington. But I haven't been to my office for over a year now.
Wow. Good, yeah. Look, this is office now. This is work. This is everything.
Exactly.
I'm really happy about this. I mean, you're connecting all over the world. We have people from all over. And I mean, imagine, Zena is here. Hi, Zena.
Hello.
Please tell
Hello,
them
everybody.
Please tell them where you are. Where are you?
Hi, Zaina. I'm from Lebanon.
So we have Lebanon there. We have Los Angeles. We have El Paso, Brazil. Lisa is in Cincinnati. Mr. Akesanya, Yemi, are you there?
I definitely am there. Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, or good evening, whichever one applies. That's the beauty of technology. Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, nice to see you.
Hello, Walid and Zena, you missed the show. Yemi, as I call him Yemi, okay, he's Mr. Akesanya. He's a very distinguished mediator from Nigeria. He was on episode 2. So
yes, I know.
Yeah, we had a very good conversation. Kato's joined us from Japan. Hi, Kato.
Hi. Good evening.
Hi, Kato.
Hello.
So what I would want to do, I mean, if you want to start, the whole idea of the topic, mediators, mediation, and spirituality, I'll just put the basics in terms of the mediators. I'm talking about those with a mediator mindset. So it's not about the people who are professionally calling themselves mediators. I'm not getting into that at all. It could be people all over the world who are definitely have the mindset. They might be doing it in their communities, in their workplaces, in their families. That doesn't matter. So I'm looking at those as mediators. So don't get it as the professionals who call themselves mediators only. On the mediation part of it, I am looking at the definition from the Singapore Convention. And it's a very broad definition. Let's have a look at it. And that is what mediation would be. So all we are going to be discussing is going to be the spirituality aspect of it and the connect between them. So not getting into any debate, what is mediation, what is the mediator, that part of it. Being my show, I have the right to do that. So let me just put that for you. This is what the Singapore Convention says. So we'll stick to mediation as this definition. I'm sure you can all read that.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Nice to see you all.
Hi,
Good morning.
Purnima.
This
Morning.
is
Hello.
Good to see you as well. Good evening, good morning, whatever time it is.
Good
so
afternoon.
It is good evening.
here
Good evening.
good evening will happen
Good evening,
later.
sir.
Good evenings will happen later. We'll do all the good evenings later. But mediation, I'm looking at the definition here. Please look at this
Yeah.
so that we don't
Yes.
discuss this ad. Now we go straight to
Yes,
the
sir.
spirituality
Yes,
ad.
sir. Yeah.
Anyway, everyone's seen that now. I can
Yes,
done. Okay. Yep. Okay. So it's a very broad-based thing, irrespective of the expression used or whatever. So we just come down to the fact of mediation. Hi, Indrani.
Well, Vikram, I think if you've defined mediator and you've defined mediation, I think it's only proper that you should also set the parameters for spirituality.
Not at all. That's going to be the only discussion we'll have. Each
I
one
know,
of you.
no. Vikram, no. With all due respect, I will disagree because I mean, all of us are mediators. All of us know about mediation, but you thought it fit to tell us that. So I think also we should understand what we're
Exactly.
speaking, so that when one begins to speak about it, we don't have you interjecting and saying, no, it's not that.
That's never that's never
Good.
going to happen, Mr. Again, that's
But
never going to
that
happen.
typically happens, Vikram.
No,
So
not
I need to preempt you now because
Okay.
I know that typically happens.
Okay,
So
no,
you need to set it right now.
Okay, no, what I'm going to be doing
Good.
is, look, this is not a discussion which can happen in one session and all, but this is something. But why did I have to get mediators to discuss this? Because as people, we are willing to listen to people. We are willing to see all sides. And this is going to be a discussion which is going to be, I would think, taking everyone's view. There is no answer. I'm not saying there's any answer. We're not going to getting any answer at the end of it. But at the end of the day, at least between us, there is a certain direction, certain thought, because I feel there is a connect. And I see that connect when I meet people, and the people that I'm talking about, the mediator mindset that I talk about is what I mean, people I think there are people who can be, you would have another gauge for them, whatever. But I'm talking about the people that I'm looking at. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to, each one of us, I mean, not me, I'll just listen, but each one of you can speak about what you think is spirituality. So what I'm going to do is I'll mute all and I'll give each one a chance. And Yemi is going to start because he's also a pastor. So let's just start the conversation with him. Yes, Yemi, you have to unmute yourself now. You've been muted up. So what do you think? What do you say about spirituality?
Okay. And what you've done very cleverly, Vikram, is to place on my shoulder back what I asked, what I tried to place on your shoulder. And that's a very smart one, but I will accept it all the same. That's like putting the monkey on my shoulder.
No, but look, you have to
Now,
started with the right person. I started with the right person.
Anyway, I think if we're speaking of spirituality, really, it's saying, can we ever look at mediation beyond the letter? Can we look at mediation beyond the surface? And before I talk about it from the point of view of any religion or spiritual doctrine or whatever it is, I'd like to say this way, that one of the things that for me, at least, mediation requires more than any other aspect of conflict resolution, especially litigation, is number one, it requires a lot of sincerity. It requires a lot of sincerity. I've found that if you are mediating, even though you're doing a professional job, I found that you get the best results and you get the best connection from the people when there is that sincerity, when people see you. In fact, I say to people that to a large extent, even as a mediator, you almost have to prepare to be vulnerable as well. People have to see that side of you, which connects, and that connection they're connecting to inside is going beyond your intellectual self, is going beyond your academic self, is bringing out your real self, and all those things that we learn in mediation, such as things like empathy, active listening, I find that none of them can be practiced mechanically. There's something about empathy. There's something about active listening. There has to be a sincere desire to know, a sincere desire to know what happened. For example, many times, even in commercial transactions, when I've had people in a dispute, it's not been unusual for me in even major commercial transactions for me to say to the parties, let's think back to the day when this contract was executed. You popped champagne, you slapped each other's backs, everybody was happy, you celebrated. Tell me, first of all, let's talk. What happened? What went wrong? What hurt you? And you'd be surprised. I've had people stand up at that moment and walk out of the room. And you would think that, okay, because they walked out of the room, oh, you've lost the matter. No, it's because it brought them back to a point, and it immediately lets you know what the real issue was, the real underlying interest. And that goes beyond what is on the surface. And if in anything at all I can define spirituality, I think that is the one thing that mediation allows us to do. You don't get to do that as a litigation lawyer. I mean, I started off my career in law as an advocate. As a matter of fact, I believed, and I apologize now again and again and again, I used to believe that we who were advocates were the brilliant lawyers. All the other lawyers who were not as brilliant as we are get to work at their desk and everything else. I apologize to all my colleagues that I ever thought so or ever promoted it. I have learned differently. In litigation, you don't care for such matters. You don't. In many other areas, you don't have to deal with that. You deal with what is on the ground, the facts, the technical things. In mediation, you admit your evidence, even though you don't you go for truth. You don't go for facts. In law, you have facts based on technical rules and evidence. In mediation, you're only seeking the truth. And truth, at the end of the day, is something that is spiritual. And lastly, let me put it this way. There is no way you can really involve yourself in active listening, I've found this, without love. And unfortunately, when you speak about love, social media and modern media has given us the mushy aspect of love. If you're not talking of the Valentine roses, eyes starry, and so on and so forth. So that is not necessarily love, but there is real love, the true love, your ability to care for some other person, and that is an essential part of mediation. It's the thing that allows you to go on for 11 hours, knowing that if you can just stay another 15 minutes, you will help them. Because sometimes you begin to now see that you're trying to help people. There's a bridge that has been broken. There's something that is wrong. There's something that needs to be fixed. And you suddenly realize that, look, the responsibility is on your shoulder, which you gladly accept. You will get paid for it. Vikram, you're aware of the controversies I've had with some of my colleagues over whether you make money in mediation or not. I say, well, the money will come, the money will follow. But first and foremost, let's do the mediation. The thing is, there's that thing you need to connect. And I think that I'm going to stop there because I think I'm trying to lay a basis for what I think is the spiritual, the spirituality of mediation. It goes beyond your intellect. It goes beyond just the mind. It goes beyond just the practice of a profession. It is your entire person getting into between two people and helping them to find where that cord was broken, where their bridge was severed, and seeing what you can do to help them. You're not going to do it. You're going to help them, work with them in love and care, without condemning them, without judging them, without criticizing them, but helping them to see what it takes to reunite them.
I'm interjecting, which you don't want me to do. But
yes,
at this initial stage, what I want to do is just talk about what you think spirituality is. We'll get into connecting these things later. Just the fact what you think spirituality in general.
I'm done. Because I've said it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yes. Lisa, what do you think? Catherine, you'll come later, huh? Look, it's age-wise. We don't want to tell everyone Lisa's age. She's very young, so I'm starting with the youngest. Lisa, please.
I'm 69.
Oh my
Just so
God.
I'll put it on the table. I'm not afraid to put it on the table. I am proud of my age, and I'm proud to be here mediating, and I am proud to be still moving and still active in mind and body. So that's it.
Does spirituality have anything to do with it, Lisa?
It does.
Why
not?
That's what I
It's
wanted to
very
hear.
important, because to me, spirituality is not about a belief system or a set of rules. It's about what connects us with others and what connects us with ourselves, that inner part of us that excites us, that that it's an ephemeral feeling, but it's very much needed in everything we do. I think, I kind of look at it as a meditation. We should be in a meditation every day and every moment. So I look at spirituality that way, and that's it.
That's it. That was short.
Yes, you said not to go to mediation.
No.
Otherwise,
On spirituality, this is what you're saying. Because look, the thing is that I could have picked up the dictionary meanings, but I said, let's not get into dictionary meanings. Let's look from our side, at least a larger discussion can happen. Otherwise, it'll actually get it too narrow. Okay,
was
I think
that a dictionary meaning?
No.
Because I don't
That's
know what
we
the
don't want that.
dictionary
We don't
says.
want that. I also, I don't read, so I'm not going to read the dictionary. Okay, John looks old. John, you look old. So I can ask you your age. Women, I can't ask their age, but you, I can ask.
You're talking about me? You're talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you. This sounds like a movie.
Yeah, spirituality for me is I like the definitions that we've been talking about so far, but yeah, for me it's communication with the source of power and within and bringing it so that it, and I like the aspect though of being able to communicate with that source of power and within, and to be able to share that power, and so that that's what I see it as.
Okay. So now, Kato, please.
Right. Thank you. It was just yesterday that we were talking about religion. Then Vikram said, "Oh no, we talk about that tomorrow in the as the spirituality there." As a very sort of obedient friend, I didn't raise any objection to that, but I think there is a difference there, and probably that reflects my background. I'll be finishing off my postgraduate course in clinical psychology in 2 weeks' time, right? And spirituality has a very distinct meaning there because it comes up when we are talking about death, right? Some bereavement, right? How do we overcome the grief, etc. So spirituality has probably different meaning for myself, different from your people there. And religion, for example, I can ask, and I should ask in the mediations, do you practice religions? Right? Religion is something, for example, yes, I'm Buddhist, but I'm not practicing. Right? That is fine. But I will not ask the same questions. Do you practice spirituality? No. So it has a very different meaning for me, right? And perhaps we are talking the same things. Why I decided to start the clinical psychology and spend 2 years for that was that there are many reasons, but I was very curious why people fight, why people kill each other. Right? And is it just a human being, or do the monkeys who do? Right? So these are the things that perhaps, in other words, are looking for peace. Right? And perhaps on that ground, we have between us common, which is try to understand other people, right? And it comes genuinely from myself. It's not whether I'm practicing or not. Right? So that's it from me. I think
to start with, Kato, this is just to start with. We are going to get this discussion. We'll take it forward. So this is just the basic, just an introduction. Zena said she doesn't have too much time. Zena, you want to go? I mean, go in the sense and tell us what you think.
About spirituality or
Yes,
about spirituality and mediation?
Only spirituality. We'll come to the mediation part later.
Okay, so there's a lot what was already said. So it's like the connection that people have with, there's a lot of kinds of spirituality, because there's also a lot of religion, and also the people who maybe do not meet in any religion can have this bond with anything which is above their self, something that they cannot maybe touch or even like see it materially. So it's the bond with something bigger, and with something that gives people plenitude and joy, a certain reassurance also, and also maybe the courage to continue the path.
Okay, before I get you want, this is it right now. This is the introduction. Okay, but before I get to the next person, please just write your name as you want to be referred to, and the place, city and country that you are, so at least we'll have a better idea of where things are coming from. Alex, you want to go?
Yes, I will do something. I hope it works well. I prepared one image that I put outside me, and I'm just looking at my computer. I just apologize. While I do this, I would like to say, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm from Brazil, and I am a Roman Catholic. And due to this fact, I connect spirituality to religions in the first place. But I believe we can coexist. The word is exploded here, because I think we must respect everybody so we can coexist. So, namaste, assalamu alaikum, God be with you. This is the message I get in spirituality. We are from different backgrounds. We have different education, but in the inner, when we go deep inside, we realize that we are all the same. We have a common ground, and that's, I think, it's what's going to connect it, spirituality and mediation. Thank you.
Okay, but you were going to show us on the computer something. You wanted to?
It's in my back. It's the word coexisted,
okay.
Made with a lot of messages. For instance, you have the yin yang, you have the Star of David, you have the T is a cross, the C is the moon from the Islamics. So this is the way you have the O with a hip symbol, the man and the male. So in that sense that we are different. That's good. That's very, very good. We can do a lot together, but we have some also common grounds inside of us. I would say also, only to advance the debate, I would like to quote Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. It's an author. He wrote The Little Prince, and he mentions when the prince gets to the rose, you become responsible forever for what you have tamed. So this is, I think, the role of mediation. When you get into someone's conflict, you connected with that conflict and you need to do something about it.
Okay, that will come to later. But before that, I think everyone, please put your name and your city and country, please. Whoever came later. Andrea, please put where you are located right now. And for you, I have a Portuguese translator. Alexander is going to translate, so you can speak in Portuguese. So, okay, Kathleen, why don't you?
Bom dia a todos. Obrigada, professor Alexandre Simões,
No, Andrea, it's not your. No, not right now. Your turn will come. You came in late. You can't get your chance right now. You come in later. I'll tell you what the question is after that. Kathleen is speaking right now. We'll get you later.
Good morning,
okay,
Andrea.
Andrea just said good morning for everyone.
Okay. Good morning,
Good
Andrea.
morning.
I think maybe let's just everyone unmute yourself and say all the various ways you want to say good, like Alexander said, in every way. Please go ahead. Please unmute yourself and say so. You can.
Good afternoon, good evening,
morning.
Ekaso, Ekrole.
Bom dia.
Dobar
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Why not in a language you do not know? Why not that? No one can speak in the language they know.
Mahalo.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, bonsoir.
İyi akşamlar.
Guten Tag.
Cambodia.
Oui, on parle un peu de français.
Buongiorno.
Oh, yes. Bonjour.
So there are so many ways that we can communicate with each other. My problem is that obviously I can't speak it, but on Google Translate, I get everything. So I actually reply to messages in the language I get it, or wherever people are. And it works quite well, I think. I think there's a connect there. So again, I'm going to ask all of you to unmute, and then Kathleen is going to. Kathleen, please.
For me, the spirituality is definitely about brotherly love, brotherly, sisterly love. It's a bit of a living sacrifice as the mediator puts their life on hold. And I see it very spiritual because we're going inside to a person, not only they have two narratives. They have the narrative of their words, which needs to be clarified. And then their second narrative.
Kathy, just one sec. I'll just mute everyone and you can unmute yourself after that. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, now you can unmute yourself so that you don't have any sound at the back.
All right.
Because your words are very important. Your words of wisdom are very important.
I see it as a form of brotherly and sisterly love, where for a moment we put our lives on hold. We're a bit of a living sacrifice at the table for the other people sitting across from us. And I see it as spiritual because we're going inside, not only their words, which is their verbal narrative, but we're going into the other narrative of their feelings that come up from their belly. And to be still at the table.
Kathleen, at this stage, we are on what is spirituality for you. When we relate it to mediation and mediators, we'll go to that later. What according to you in your...
When I hold still for that process, Vikram, that is spirituality for me because I'm going into them and I'm either unpacking or repacking or helping them redistribute their value. So it's about value. It's about mattering. It's about meaning in people's lives. It's extremely spiritual for me. Thank you.
That's it, Kathleen. I thought half our session would be Kathleen will tell us what spirituality is. Okay. Okay.
I see it as the values of Christ, a living sacrifice and putting other people first and helping them find their value and their meaning in life. Everyone wants to be acknowledged, and sometimes people lose it in life. Life beats them up, Vikram. So that's the spirituality of the mediation table for me as I sit there with them.
Okay, we'll come to that then. Let's get a Croatian view on it. Adriana, what is the Croatian view on this?
Well, not Croatian. I think that it is common for all. I think that spirituality is something that connects us all. I look at it as we are all one. And we as individuals are like one of my friends that's giving lectures in this field of spirituality says, we are like a drop of an ocean. And the ocean is higher awareness, something higher. And we all have the same qualities as the ocean, but we are the drops that makes the ocean. So we are asked to help to each other because whatever is happening to another really is happening to us. So in that sense, I think that mediation is a way of helping, and this is why it is connected to spirituality.
Okay. Sultan, you want to tell us what your view on this is? On spirituality, we'll connect it later.
Okay. Okay, now do you hear me?
But you have to tell us where you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you haven't written where you are.
Okay. I live in Turkey, in Ankara. I'm a mediator and lawyer. Spirituality is, I don't think about this topic, but I interested mediation.
Okay.
It's important for me and my people, my children, co-worker and our country people, because we are a lot of conflict, our country people. It's a big problem.
Yep.
We need communication and conversation. We need this.
Yep.
It's important for our people.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. So what you do up till then, Sultan, while everyone is talking, just go Google what spirituality is. Just read that and think, see what you relate to, and then you can come back on that, right?
No,
do Google search spiritual. What is the thing? Spirituality. What is the problem? Do that.
Okay.
Yeah?
I look it.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Maybe spirituality, move you and emotion, feeling
have a look.
sensitive, but
yeah.
It's
have a look. We are here only.
Connection with the mediation. I don't understand.
No. That we'll do later. Just have a look at it. We are here only.
Yes,
We're not going. You know these things go on very long, so no problem. Okay. Okay, Joya, what do you think is spirituality? Joya? Okay. So who else is there who can tell us? Anyone want to raise their hands on this? Nidhi, do you have something on this? What do you think is spirituality?
Yes, sir. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nidhi and I'm from India. So, as I think that spirituality is something a broader concept which has so many perspectives, I think. So, as in a way, it's a universal human experience, I think, which is something that touches us all. So, in the simple way, it's a deep sense of aliveness and interconnections. So that's all I wanted to say. That is the spirituality.
Okay. Prerna, you want to tell us what your view on spirituality is?
Good evening, everyone. And I am Prerna, and I'm speaking from New Delhi, India. Thank you so much, Vikram, for having us all on board together. For me, spirituality is something which, is a universal concept. And it is something which emanates from the word spirit. So when I talk about it, I feel spirituality is a very vast topic to begin with. And there is, I think the primary definition has been given by one and all who's speaking today. It is something which covers each one of us because it is a very innate, I feel innate to each one of us. The more spiritual a person is, the more elevated he or she would be. And that would mean that that person, be it a lady or a gentleman, would see everybody in a way which is completely filled with empathy, where you are able to relate to the other person, irrespective of which culture you belong to. And when we talk about a culture, we obviously talk about the belief systems, the value systems, and everything which comes along from your roots.
But Prerna, how do we see everybody if we can't see you? See, no one can see you when you want to see everybody. How does that happen?
Yeah, I think that's also something which, it's an inner quality. Yeah, of course. Now I'm sure.
Yeah, now it's better. Now it's much better. At least we know there's not a computer, because these days with artificial intelligence and machine learning, we don't know what's happening. Is it people there? Is it a computer talking? Now we know Prerna's there. Yeah, Prerna.
Very much in person and spirit.
Spirit,
so, yeah. So this is something which I think is, of course, coming to the topic mediation and spirituality, I feel that the more broad-minded we are and the more flexible we are, I think as mediators, we will accept the fact that each one of us, as very rightly said by some of the speakers, that it covers the complete human nature of us, the mankind, and without judging anybody. I think that is a broad spectrum I would attach to spirituality.
Yeah, no, very interesting, because I thought, I mean, you were on the right track. I just stopped you there. If you want to go further on the spirituality part of it, because what you were saying was very relevant. If you want, I stopped you there. I just asked you to put your video on. If you want to go ahead on that thing, you can continue on the spirituality aspect, not on the connection with mediation, but on the larger concept, because you said it's a very vast topic.
Absolutely. It's a very vast. In fact, I've just happened to step in. I had just realized that it had begun at 7:30. And being a Sunday, I was a little engaged with other things, but I didn't want to miss this. And I would love to hear other viewpoints also on this.
And what you do is you get used to this, because this 7:30 is going to happen on a regular basis.
Okay.
Okay. Indrani, are you ready to talk? Are you going to show yourself to us? Yes, Indrani.
Everyone. Thanks, Vikram. I don't know, it's showing South Africa. Yeah, very interesting. But I think everyone has echoed the, what spirituality is, and latching on to what Perna has just said. It is a unique experience to each of us because it is so vast. For me, spirituality in mediation is an egoless state of bringing in the calling, the higher calling, which I didn't arrive in or by being a mediator by accident. It was my calling. It gives me a deeper sense of purpose. It gives me a power by which the authenticity in my work is for me, it's actually meditation at work when I mediate. And it's something I can talk about all day long. But in essence, when I say egoless, I came up with the acronym. I read it somewhere many years ago, and I think it puts it into absolute perspective, which is the ego. When you look at the acronym, people who operate from a place of the ego, edging God out. As a mediator, when we are in an egoless state, spirituality prevails as the most important ingredient in the work that we do. So that's my definition.
Start with, yeah, that's to start with. I mean, you're going to go further on to that.
All right. Thank you.
Abiola, you want to tell us what you think is spirituality?
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone.
But before you start, Abiola, you were supposed to write there. Achha, you came in later. You're supposed to write where you were located. I'll do that for you. I'll do that for you. You go on. Yeah.
Thank you, Vikram. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Abiola. I'm in Lagos, Nigeria. And personally, I think spirituality is actually being in tune with nature, being in tune with your fellow man, and accepting the fact that we're all here for a short time for a purpose. I think that's it for me. I'm believing that doing good is the core to humanity, is the core of humanity.
That's it, Abiola. This is the least you have ever spoken in your life. How do you do that to yourself? You cannot do this. Okay, we'll come back to you. I'm sure at this stage we just do the basics. And now, Andrea, please, Andrea, speak in Portuguese. Alexander will translate.
I will say resume. I think that spirituality in mediation begins by recognizing that the mediator is spiritual in an environment that mediation.
I think. But I think, Andrea, no, I want you to speak in Portuguese, and I want to know from you what is spirituality according to you. Not the mediation will come later. What do you think is spirituality? This is Portuguese. If this is Portuguese, then I know Portuguese.
Yes.
É
importante elemento para quem para quem se propõe a estar na mediação. A mediação não vive, o procedimento não subsiste sem o elemento espiritual ou da espiritualidade, como queiram dizer, né? É essencial para o procedimento reconhecer o elemento espiritualidade.
Alexander?
Spirituality is essential and fundamental to the procedure of mediation. You cannot go on in the procedure if you don't take into consideration spirituality.
But I just ask her what she thinks otherwise, other than mediation, in general. Alexander?
Ele quer saber o que você considera espiritualidade sem ser na mediação.
Eu considero a espiritualidade sem ser na mediação como um elemento do ser humano. Eu entendo como um desdobramento, como um elemento constitutivo do ser humano, do human being.
Yes, part of every human being has inside spirituality. It's part of us.
Okay, perfect. That's good. Now we have our friend from Cambodia. Sabat, do you want to tell us what you think is spirituality?
Thank you, Vikram, and everyone. That great time to meet you. I'm Sabat from Cambodia.
Hi, Sabat.
Regard to that spirituality that in Cambodia, that this side of that term is affiliated with that the soul. Yeah, and mediation in this context that refer to the Buddhist philosophy that the Buddhist the Buddha taught about how to seeking the root cause of the conflict. Most of that the Buddha taught regard to how to find the root cause. It such of that is a spiritual is also refer to the suffering feeling. Such of that is also root cause of conflict happen, and then in order to address such a root cause, we had to know about our feeling, our spiritual, and in the Buddhists that have five key points regard to nature of address conflict. Yes, and people in Cambodia that also believe regard to this philosophy of the Buddhists, of the Buddha that taught Cambodia how to address. Yes, so why that is very important, but that traditional tradition we treat it as like meditation, traditional meditation in Cambodian culture. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks. So I had Allah there. Allah, where is Allah gone? Allah, you want to tell us where you are and also what is your understanding of spirituality?
Sorry, is that me? Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Ala. I'm from Iraq. I believe the mediation is like a peace, and we can share a lot of things around the world, and everyone has a specific thinking, but we together we can do a lot of work, and we must have a connection with the other people, because the peace gave me the power and the energy, and we must have a connection with the other people around the world, and we have, because we have the mediation, and that's it.
But Allah, are you connecting with people all over the world? Are you doing that?
Yeah.
How are you doing that? Through Facebook or what?
Yeah, I have friends from India and American and a lot of countries.
Yeah. But what do you think when you talk to them and everything, when you connect with them, is there something common that you find between them? The goodness, in terms of the common goodness, you find something there?
Yeah, we share a lot of things about us because about me and I'm interested in technology. I have friends from American because now I'm sorry. I don't
Any other,
speak English.
any other language? I'm sure
Don't
someone
speak
can
English.
translate. Well, you want to speak in
What?
Arabic? Arabic, and you can speak in Arabic. I'm sure there must be someone who can translate. Is there someone who can translate? Sultan. Okay, Sultan is going to speak in Turkish. Arabic, I don't know if there's someone.
Yes, I speak Turkish. I don't speak.
I know. I just look. That
Where
is
are you from, Ala? Where are you from, city?
Iraq.
I'm from Iraq.
Iraq? Which city?
I can translate.
Okay, Joya is there. Joya can translate. Yeah, Joya. You can speak to Allah. You can speak in Arabic. Joya will translate.
Yes, you can
Vikram, may I say this? If
No,
you
no,
don't
you
mind.
can't say
I
no.
don't.
No.
Please, please allow me. Please allow me, Vikram.
Okay.
Please. I just want to suggest. Well, every once in a while, people will express themselves in English. I think as mediators, we also listen to them.
No, we'll come to that later. We'll do that.
I know we will. Let's.
Okay,
because the interpretation is distracting.
This is my show. I do it my way. No one gives me suggestions. They can give me suggestions, but I don't listen to them most of the time.
Okay.
I'll come back to that. Yeah, Joya, just ask her what she's saying in Arabic.
Yes, ألا فيكي تحكي بالعربي إذا بدك أنا حترجم لك. But for what it's worth, Vikram, I do agree with the speaker, with Yemi, who just said his intervention, but we'll come to that later on.
That is when you go to Yemi's show, you can agree with him everything. When you come here, you have to do it my way.
يعني نحكي بالعربي وبعدين نترجم.
إيه.
اوكي. أنا يعني حاليا مشاركين في مسابقة عالمية وهيك كنت يعني كونت صداقات مع هالبنات في يعني من العالم.
Okay, so Ala is saying that she took part in an international competition, and as a result, she was able to make a lot of friendships with people from around the world.
واحنا لأن احنا يعني مهتمين بنفس المجال، وبما أن احنا مهتمين بنفس المجال ف يعني استطعنا أن نكون صداقات مع بعض حتى ولو احنا من بلدان مختلفة.
And she said that it's because they're all interested in the same field that they were able to bond over that interest and nurture their friendships even more.
But also, Joy, why don't you ask her if she can just, while everyone is talking, just search what is spirituality and then tell us what her view on spirituality is.
ألا عم بيقول لك فيكرم إذا فيكي هلأ تفوتي أنت مثلا على جوجل وتفتشي على كلمة spirituality يعني الروحانية، تجربي تفوتي وتفتشي عليها وتعرفي شو يعني وترجعي تعطي رأيك بالموضوع.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So Joya, what do you think is spirituality according to you?
I would have to say that I've always considered spirituality as a direct relation between me and the supreme power that guides the universe, but it's also more than that. It's also about what's the essence of being a human being to me. So once we discover what that is and the core fundamental human values, we connect in some way with the transcendent. And I think this is what spirituality to me is for now. But you know, it's a concept that's always evolving because I'm evolving as a person.
But for now, this is what I can say about it.
Yeah, as we keep discussing it, we'll keep getting more into it. Hi, Marissa. What do you think is spirituality, Marissa?
Hi, Vikram.
How are you? Yeah.
Hello. I'll say it in Filipino.
Yeah.
Okay.
But who's going to translate?
I will.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Tayong lahat ay pantay-pantay. All of us are equal. Okay. So for me, spirituality is what actually makes us all human beings on equal footing. There's no color, there's no religion, there's no creed, there's no rich, there's no poor. Because spirituality to me is essentially the spirit. Spirit or the soul. And that soul is the one that binds all of us together in what Joya said is humanity or humanity. And then if you ask if other people will see each other in the same way because they understand spirituality to be the same, like, yeah, it's the soul, then there would be no conflict at all.
Yep.
So it's essentially the spirit.
Right.
Lahat ay pantay-pantay.
Okay, so why don't you write it down? Why can you send it on the chat? That's going to be the keyword now. We'll have to learn how to pronounce it, yes, but yeah. So, Victoria, you want to tell us what you think is spirituality?
Yes, thank you, Vikram.
But
Yes,
but you have to write there where you are.
Yes, I'm coming from Greece. I am in Greece. Kalispera to everyone. Thank you, Vikram, and I'm really glad to be here with you, with this very nice team and community from around the world. For me, spirituality is something like higher end, something like over and above all of us. And people need to have faith in something over and above the human reality. So for me, though, personally, regardless of the different religions, different cultures, and different maybe values, etc., it's the art of giving, the art of caring, the art of sharing, which I believe that every religion has these characteristics. And if I quote Aristoteles, is ethos, pathos, logos.
Now,
So that's what
you also have to type that out. Look, you have to type this out. What you quoted Aristotle, you have to type it out because I'm an uneducated person, so I would need that reference later. What you just said.
I will write it in the chat, but the thing is that I wanted to add that we preach what we teach. So we have to believe what we're doing every day. And it's not necessary to give all the time, maybe, or to share, but at least there is a way in your life that we have chosen it. And this means communication and connection. So I believe that we need to do a lot of work with ourselves, and then we need something to believe, to have faith in. If this is our higher end or something else, regardless of that, I believe it's an art of communicating and connecting with others.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you, Victoria. That was very nice. Of course, we'll come back to you later. But before that, let me ask, whom do I ask now? Whom am I left out? Who's left out? Please put your hand. Gunasalin, you please tell us.
Sorry, Vikram.
Yes, Indrani.
You are left out. It'll be so
I'm
wonderful
always going to be left out. You will never know anything about me. You will never know my thoughts. Nothing.
Come on, Vikram.
I am not going to tell. Fola, I'm coming to you after that. After Gunasilin, I'm coming to you. You're not going to be left out. Gunasilin.
Okay, Vikram, I'm audible to you.
Yeah, absolutely audible.
Very good. Spirituality for me is the very essence of day-to-day living. It's how we correlate what is happening around us and within us. That essence of belief, in my view, is spirituality. It's always a question of choice. How do we make choices? So if you are spiritual, there are different parameters for making different choices. Where there is a conflict, you say, I will choose peace. Where there is an issue of monetary gain or your principles, I would say I'll go by principles. Where there is a choice of a big feast or a simple food, I would say I would prefer a simple food. Depending upon, so it's a question of choices. And when you make that choice, ultimately it is what you believe in. What you believe in is essentially a question of spirituality. It is not the religion. Religion is different from spirituality. Probably religion is one route of among other means of reaching the level of spirituality. Spirituality is the essence of our lives. In my life, I think spirituality is the essence of my way of living. I think I have put it that way.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Fola. Fola, what happened? You were saying something, or where have you gone? Fola
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, it's actually a very, very interesting topic, and I'm going to look at it from the first angle of spirituality. I look at spirituality as a connection you have with something, something you can't see. You understand the connection you have with the extra. I don't want to say extraterrestrial, but something, the connection you have with a certain level of abstraction. That for me is what spirituality is, and I'm also trying not to confuse spirituality with religion. Now, when you now look at spirituality in mediation,
we'll come to that later. Yeah, we'll come to that later.
Okay, yeah. So,
yeah, now this is a broader problem. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So basically, my own understanding of spirituality is you connecting with the with what you can't see, connecting with something extraterrestrial, connecting with something that has a superior level of abstraction. So whether it now comes in from the angle of a superior being, or an angle of an idea, or an angle of a philosophy, is just the fact that you are in sync with something you cannot necessarily lay your hands on, but you can actually feel. That for me is my own understanding of spirituality.
Very nice. Okay. Selim, you want to tell us where you are from and also your concept of spirituality? Selim? Can you? Okay, I think Selim is not being able to hear it. Purnima, you want to go next? Yes, Purnima.
Yes, sir.
Yes. What do you think is spirituality?
So spirituality means it is we are being born and the life goes on cycle. We die and again we are born. Again we die, again we are born. All that whatever we get like in previous jalmas, whatever we learn, that is been modified. Finally we'll become a good person. So according to me, according to spirituality is Adi from the beginning, and it goes on. So we learn many things, and the culture, all that level comes only after having previous jalmas. Like one jalma we do something wrong, and next jalma we do something better, and we come to know what wrong we made it, and now we have corrected it. That likewise, this is going on from years together, and spirituality is everywhere in all the countries, and it is not one religion as such. It is whole world. It is inner within us. Whatever we are thinking, what is good, bad, we have been taught by our parents, and what we have learned from the society, that carries, and That is a major thing where it is being modified.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah.
goes on.
Now, Yemi, is back to you. After listening to everyone, please, what do you think? Because you can summarize or whatever you want to go about it. Yemi, what happened? You can't hear me? So, okay, Yemi is coming back. John, you want to go tell us a little bit about what you understood from what everyone said, how you would summarize it?
Sure. I heard a lot about communication. I heard a lot about empathy. I heard about humanity. The thing that I like, the thing that strikes me the most about spirituality is communication with the higher power, and so when we bridge into the next topic, then that's how we communicate with the others in terms of reaching our best decisions. So that's where I think the connection comes in.
Okay, so that means I would need a better summarizing of the whole thing. Who's going to do that? Let me see. Who's going to? Ajay, are you going to do that?
I've heard a pretty a lot of similar meanings of spirituality and understandings, and they are all connected with the spirit, with understanding of with love, and with some higher self. With no matter in which part of the world are we, where are we in? I think that for everybody is spirituality important, and in their path of mediation plays a significant part.
So with mediation, yeah, we'll come to that later. But right now, okay. Kato, do you want to, based on what you heard right now, is there anything different that you would think of now? Or you have some other view on this?
Well, in fact, I was very pleased to hear the same view as I said, right? Because I tend to distinguish religion and spirituality, right? Yep. To me, it's a very different things there. There may be overlap there, but what is common among us was being human being, or our passion to be sort of like as close to possible to superhuman being, if it is possible at all. Right? And it was, in a sense, resonating to myself, what all you guys have said to me. Thank you so much.
Okay. Prerna, what do you think after you've heard everyone? Is there anything you would want to look at in the larger picture? Prerna, are you there? I think spirituality has got to everyone here. Indrani.
Sorry, I didn't. Could you just tell me, Vikram, what was the question?
Basically, you've heard everyone.
That's
so
right.
Based on that, obviously, you started with something. Now, has that whole concept become a little larger, or is there something? I mean, in terms of the understanding, what you think based on what you heard, what do you think in terms of spirituality?
See, I think mainly everybody has come to a common viewpoint that it is about mankind at large. And when we talk about ourselves as spiritual human beings, then we do not become very rigid. We are communicating in a manner which is, I think, very flexible. We are also trying to understand each and everyone's perspective. And when we talk about spiritualism, I think that is it's a quality which I would say is actually, I think, bestowed to the fortunate. And it's a blessing to mankind if you are spiritual, because that helps you bridge a lot of gap between one another. So for me, spiritualism is, I would put it at a level which is much over and above all our, the thought processes which we carry, our conditioning. I mean, that is something which we all have are born with different conditionings. So we outgrow all that, and we try to understand, I think, in detail about each and every one who is present around us or matters to us. So I think that is something I would, from what I've been able to gauge, is how I'd term it.
Okay, perfect. Lisa, what do you think? Anything else you want to add to that?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of themes that flowed throughout everyone's perspective, and they were also all different. Different in the ways that we experience spirituality. Those things were different. Themes that were the same were the feeling of connection, the feeling of connecting with others, connecting with ourselves, the feeling of something greater than ourselves, connecting to a higher power, some people said. So spirituality had similarities and differences, which is natural because, like the parable of the elephant, right? We're going to experience something vast and great at different ways because of our own limitations.
Right. Yes, Yemi. Now you're back. Now you can do it.
Vikram?
Yeah, Marisa.
Yes, thank you about that. Sure.
Yemi, just one sec. Marisa, I just want to say.
Yes,
Yeah,
Marisa, go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Marisa,
Yeah,
please.
thank you. When I think of a human being, I always see that person as composed of three things, yeah? The body, the mind, and the spirit. Now, the body matures and it dies. And it matures, gets old. The mind, on the other hand, also develops, but the mind is different from the soul, the spirit, because the mind uses rationality. But I think the soul, when you say you're spiritual, you're actually more of connecting with your heart. So the heart is what is symbolized, which symbolizes to me as the soul, as the spirit, different from.
But Marisa, are you comparing the heart with the soul, or are you taking those two as different concepts?
I'm talking about the heart, not as the organ.
Yeah, and we understand that.
Yeah, but
but because coming from the heart and coming from the soul and the heart, I think there are we kind of merging. Are we merging the two, or are they different things?
The soul and the spirit to me is one and the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So the soul and the spirit, they don't die. It's the same. So you can grow in spirituality, but the essence of your humanity is it makes each one of us in equal footing. Because when you talk about the body, for instance, you can't be in equal footing, because there are some people who are more beautiful, more handsome, stouter, slimmer, different colors. When you talk about the mind, there are people who are also different, because some are intelligent, some are not. But when you talk about the spirit, we're equal there. We're the same.
Okay, so those issues, those issues don't come up. Okay, so there you don't distinguish on these aspects. That's a good thing. Yes, Yemi.
Oh, sorry for my brief absence.
Did anyone notice? No, only I noticed.
Well, Zoom allows you to do that, but I have to be honest, it's part of spirituality.
But now you're back. Are you back in body? Are you back in body? Only
I'm back in body and in spirit.
I can't see you. We can't see you. We can't see you. So we need you back in body.
Sorry, yes, okay, go ahead.
The spirit will come to later.
Yes.
Yeah.
From what everybody's saying, what I get is spirituality is that which addresses everything else that we cannot see, but which nevertheless influences a lot of what we see. A lot that happens behind what we see, and which in some way influences what we do in the realm of where we see, and directs us and influences us to develop either certain skills or certain sentiments or certain virtues based on that which we do not see. Now, if you go beyond that and you begin to interpret what is it that you do not see, I believe you begin to gradually enter into the realm of religion, because you can say, what do I not see? Well, there is a power. Well, some of us may not want to just say there is a power. I believe there is God. I believe that whether I practice whatever religion, the one thing I believe that's very difficult to disagree with is that no one created himself. No one created herself. I think on that, every religion, every spiritual law agrees. You did not make yourself. You were not the originator of yourself. But when you start getting into that, then you begin to enter the realm of religion. But what is important at the moment is to understand that behind what we see, there's some other influences that determine our values, our attitudes, our sentiments, the things that matter to us, and we connect to it as a source because it helps us to do what we do in the realm of the seen better as a result of that connection. But again, just for emphasis, I'll say that what is that thing we do not see? How do we say it? Well, then we're beginning to get into religion. Then, of course, I mean, the Buddhists will explain it differently. I am a Christian. I'm not just Christian. I'm fundamental Christian, evangelical, Pentecostal, charismatic, etc., etc.
Why don't you also tell us that you're a pastor?
Demon
that
beating. And yes, and I'm an ordained minister.
You are biased here. You're a pastor. We will not listen to you.
So what I'm saying here is that like all of us do realize that outside of what we see, there are influences, there are things that we respect that affect how we see things. And if I go a little further, again, just to react what I said earlier, some of the things, however, that runs a common thread to all of them are things like love. Even in nature, there is love. Love overcomes all. In Christianity, we say God is love. Now, we don't just say that God loves, we say that God is love. And so we find that love pervades. And I'm not talking of the mushy Valentine love. I keep emphasizing that because every time these days we talk of love and making love, and it degrades the whole thing. I think love in that sense of it. So I believe that is spirituality. And frankly, I think when everybody was speaking, unless I didn't hear right, or unless someone spoke while I was out for about 5 minutes, that's what I heard. That's what I thought I heard everybody was saying. And when Kato even mentioned something like, I'm a Buddhist, but I'm not practicing Buddhism, he's actually saying, I recognize that spirituality, but I'm not in the religion of it. It's like that, those are the lines we draw. Now, I'm going to defer to you to decide how you want to move us forward from here. But if that is correct, if that is the correct summary of what everyone has said, I think then we have looked at mediator.
No, this is correct or not, I can't say. It's your summary. We'll take it as your summary, not an issue. We'll come back to that.
Well, no. Okay, I take that back. If that appears to summarize what everyone has said, I think then we have before us an idea of what spirituality is, as will guide us going forward in this discussion.
Yeah. What I was going to do is I'm actually going to get Kato in, but Fola wants to say something. We'll get Fola. And Fola, you were saying something? Kathleen, after that, I'm coming to you. Yes, Fola. And anyone wants to raise...
Coca-Cola is not paying me for this, please.
I don't know these days. I'm telling you, I really don't know. Fola puts his thing at the back. You get the Coke. Someone is talking about religion in terms of the church. I'm telling you, I don't know what's happening here. Are people promoting too much? And I don't know.
I totally agree with you.
Yes. Yes, Fola. But yeah, you wanted to add something. Look, you are unmuted, but we can't hear you for some reason. There's something wrong with your mic.
No, you're muted now. We can't hear you, Fola.
Earlier you were unmuted, but we couldn't hear you. No, we can't hear you. You're unmuted, but there's this mic thing. You get that going. I'll just get Kathleen in after that. Yeah, Kathleen.
think overarching, we all are acknowledging that we have a great intersection in life. We have our horizontal relationships with each other, with ourselves, and then we have our vertical relationship with the essence that's bigger than us. And then amongst that intersection, we have room for growth. If we want to elevate ourselves as human beings and make new choices, we can. Maybe life will bring a lesson around again to help us make that choice again. But I think we're talking about this intersection of a vertical relationship with a greater presence than us, and our horizontal relationships with each other. And then our relationship with ourselves is very important. I always say the most important person at the mediation table is the mediator.
But when anyone else wants to come in, just put up
Yeah,
your
yeah. Are you
virtual
better
hand.
now?
Just put your virtual
Is it
hand
better
up
now?
and I'll get it. Yes, Fola. Now we can hear
Yeah,
you.
right? Yeah. So, I within the context of what Mr. Kisa just said now, I'm getting the vibe, and permit me if I'm wrong, that spirituality might be a semantic of religiosity, because in a way, I see an interrelation of some sort between his own concept of spirituality and religion. So I don't know whether there's a distinction of some sort between spirituality and religion based on his own explanation. So that's just I'm just struggling to see the distinction between spirituality and religion based on his explanation. So if you can please just clarify that part, I would like.
Kato will tell us. Kato, you want to answer what Fola said?
Well, I have to say it's really up to each of us to see whether there is a distinction or not. I don't really think it makes a huge difference there. I see a line between the two, right? Because I was brought up in Japan, and Buddhism was a part of my childhood. But I spent 25 years in London, right? So you can guess I was very much westernized, right? Then I'm back, I see so many different schools of Buddhism. There's probably over 100 schools there. So, and it's an evolving process. Somebody said that, so you're quite right. Each of us, at least I am growing up day by day, and therefore I might be saying quite different things next week. But having said that, I appreciate that some of you or many of you do not see the distinction between the two, and that is totally fine with me. I'm not saying that's wrong, right? Because there is no right answer when we're talking about this sort of highly rich philosophical issues there. I think I've said enough, right? So back to you, Vikram.
Yeah, because the point is that after we've discussed this, because when the aspect of the mediator comes in and mediation comes in, that all these things, then we would just try to put them in. So Alex wants to say something for sure. Alexander?
No, I'm fine.
It cannot happen like that. I'm sure there is something you want to add.
I'm glad to hear everybody's opinions, and I made in my opening some approaches, and I believe that to mediate, you need to control your ego, because you see through your lens, and when you go to a mediation, it's very difficult to forget who you are, but you need to neutralize that in order to listen well to the others and to make an atmosphere of welcoming everybody and make a safe environment, a good environment to them to open their hearts and minds to say what they want. My practice is in business mediation. I do a lot of calculus because I think it's in business, it's more strategic to talk with the mediator when the other side is not in the room. So that's my contribution.
That will come.
So
Yeah, we'll come to that next. But Sultan, have you been able to do some Google search on spirituality?
Yes, I understand this, and maybe I think our mediation meeting, we don't use about spirituality because our people, participants, don't like maybe this. They don't write and don't honor in the meeting.
Okay, so what I basically, Sultan, what I need is I need a Turkish translator. But is anyone willing to be a Turkish translator?
Yes, my English is
No, that's not a problem.
very well.
No, that's not a problem. Language is not. I want you to be comfortable when you're speaking, because if you're thinking, that means you're translating from Turkish into English and something is getting lost in that. I don't want anything to get lost. I want it to come out exactly what you're thinking, but we don't have anyone who's willing to translate. So I think we'll have to listen to you. We'll have to hear you in English only. What you're saying, Victoria? Anything? Okay, Victoria, you want to translate?
Okay, translate, Victoria.
I don't know. She got a hand up. Victoria?
Yes. No, translate. I raised my hand to talk after Sultan. Sorry.
Okay, Sultan. No,
Yes.
she's not translating. Yeah.
Okay. Your Grace, you maybe know Turkish. Maybe we are think, but I think it's religion. Religion is. Yes, we use it, but spirituality also all it's we don't use it our mediation. I think.
Okay, mediation part will come. Okay, yeah, Victoria.
Yes, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Vikram. Well, my understanding, if I could summarize whatever I heard from anyone, is that I summarize as the need to connect from every different religion. There are people in this world that they believe in the higher good and the need to communicate and connect. And that is my summary from what I've heard from people around the world who mediate, who are mediators, who are doing this as their profession. So they believe in something good in this life, and they want to connect with other people, and they want to also they want to create this environment for others to join. And that was my summary and my understanding.
No, that's interesting thing, because this connection with mediators, definitely this connection is going to come in. Yeah, Adriana, I'm sorry, Adriana.
Okay, I just wanted to refer to this question that Fola asked about the difference between spirituality and religion. I think that Alex last time also said the difference, which I think of that also, and that is that religion is only a means to connecting to spirituality, to this spiritual part of yourself. So this is why there are so many religions, but in the heart of all the religions, it is all the same. That's why when we talk right now, all of us here from different parts of the world, we really talk about the same thing. So in the basis of all this is the same. And also, as Yemi said, spirituality is a fact. Spirit is a fact. So it is something that it is eminent to all of us. And I was just thinking before this meeting, we were talking about people who are not that will not join us because they are not spiritual, they are not religious, but maybe they are just not aware of that. All the expressions they do in an ethical, moral way or something like that, it is all expression of their spirit. So it is not important whether you practice it, as Kato said. There is a Buddhism in Japan, but he's not practicing it. It's really not important because you're practicing humanity. And this is in the heart of a religion, spirituality. This is the meaning of that.
Yep. Yes, Kathleen.
I want to add another concept to our discussion. I want to also add that I believe that mediation is redemptive. People have a chance to renew their lives. You know, they come to the mediation table because their life is a mess, because something's wrong. So I call it the do difference. People can incorporate doing something differently, therefore having a new outcome. So I love that part of the mediation, Vikram, how it can be redemptive.
No, but I think I was thinking, Kathleen, we will come to this later because definitely that's by itself a discussion. So today, let's keep it only to this aspect, and then
I see it as very spiritual, though, Vikram. You know, the redemption factor, and people walk out of mediations oftentimes with joy and peace and hope that they can live their life better. Thank you.
Yep. Allah, have you done your research? Have you done your Google search? Allah? Okay, Allah, you don't want to tell us? Okay. So I think by this point of time, I think this is what we kind of have a discussion on. We'll come back to, I think with next session, I think we'll start with this a little bit. Everyone's going to have their thoughts, and then we can move to the mediators and the mediation after that. But anyone else wants to? Gunasirin, yeah. Gunasirin, please. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing, I understand that spirituality is the core of human existence. Therefore, it has got no boundaries. It is the humans who are connecting themselves with a superior force so as to be related to that superior force. On that level, they attain a status where neutrality, bias, every other factor goes out of the out. So it comes almost like by being spiritual, you maintain an inner peace and calm. Therefore, you become a better person to deal with things. That is how I would, that's how I view from all angles, from what all people have said. It is something more than religion, which all of us believe in. Every one of us who have shared their views believe in this fundamental concept that spirituality is the core essence of a human existence. That's how I would put it.
Interesting. Yep.
In fact, I'd like to intervene a bit and, thank you, Vikram, because I think this was a golden opportunity where it is again reiterated that there is so much of goodness and there are several points which have been raised, or rather I'd say reiterated by each of the speaker about the higher power, about hope, and about understanding. And I think the connect, this is so wonderful. And I just wanted to be grateful to each one of them and to you, because I think when we get a chance to listen, and this is something which is rare these days because everybody's on a high speed and life has become so fast, that such a platform gives us again, food for thought, that the mediators by large as a community have so much of commonalities,
Yes.
when it comes to dealing with people. So I would really be, willing to understand more on this and learn from each one of them. And I would like to thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you for all of you to be here. But look, Prerna, the thing is, I deal with people from all over the world, and I see that. But I'm not saying the mediator, because the mediator word people understand as the people who are professionally telling themselves, call themselves mediator. I'm saying in general, people with that mediator mindset have that in them, and that is the common thread that I'm telling you will come out as we go along. And goodness is there, and the people who actually come into mediation as mediators or are doing it otherwise also as not professionally also, you will see that in them. So they're good people. I'm not saying all good people can become good mediators, but all mediators are good people. Is what I have seen. But let's see as we go along. We will obviously see that. You will see that in front of you when you talk to everyone. I mean, everyone you've spoken to, they're all good people. Seema hasn't spoken. Seema, you want to say something on what spirituality means to you?
स्पिरिचुअलिटी मतलब ये है कि आप इस दुनिया के नहीं हैं, दुनिया से कनेक्शन होते हुए भी आप उससे ऊपर सोच रहे हैं. This is the main.
Okay. So what Seema is saying is that you're in this world, but you're actually thinking of things beyond this world. Am I translating all right? Anyone wants to do a prerna? You want to do a better translation?
In fact, Seema, please feel free to correct me wherever you feel there is something which you might have stated and I might just have not been able to communicate. I felt that what you tried to convey was that yes, we belong and we are born as humans, but our level of thinking is beyond, and beyond, I would say, it is to a level which is higher and more elevated.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. 100% right.
Yes, and there is a connect with something supreme out there, where we are able to, give it a communication, I would say, from a higher level thinking.
We always try कि हम वहाँ तक पहुँच जाए.
Yeah, we are always putting in that effort to connect with each one we meet in life. Thanks to the higher connect which we all have kind of tried to achieve in any which ways. I would say a small way, big way. So that is something which is kind of my understanding what you try to mention, Seema.
I want to say this.
Yeah.
Say.
नहीं कोई अब देखो कोई इशू नहीं है, आप हिंदी में बोलो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ट्रांसलेट करेंगे. देखो लैंग्वेज बीच में नहीं आनी चाहिए. जो आप बोलो बिल्कुल वैसे ही, मतलब देखो मैं थोड़ी ट्रांसलेशन कर दूंगा, प्रेरणा थोड़ी कर देगी, बट मतलब अपनी तरफ से जितना आप जो बोल रहे हो डेफिनेटली उसमें बहुत और चीजें होंगी जो हम नहीं कर पाएंगे, पर आप बोलो, कोई चिंता नहीं है. अब हम ट्रांसलेट करने
Seema, I would like to also, now that you said this, it also got me thinking to the point that when each one of us speaks and each one of us meets, there is a form of communication through our body language. So and so at times, there was one gentleman who mentioned that how comfortable we create an environment during mediation. I think the body language of a mediator also conveys a lot. So so when you find somebody you're comfortable with, you get a feeling that they are willing to listen and listen to my heart, from my heart, and they're listening from, they're all heart about it. So that also I think is a very major component of spiritualism attached to mediation.
Yes. जब आप खुद ही नहीं कंफर्टेबल हो तो आप दूसरों को क्या कंफर्टेबल कर पाओगे. मेरे लिए तो मीडिएशन का मतलब ये कि आप खुद कंफर्टेबल हो करके इस बारे में सोचें. जब आप खुद कंफर्टेबल होंगे तो सामने वाला बहुत सारा इससे भी बहुत फर्क पड़ जाता है.
बहुत बिल्कुल ठीक, आपने बहुत अच्छा, आई थिंक दिस वाज अ वेरी गुड पॉइंट जो आपने बताया एंड यू रेज्ड. Thank you so much for that.
You have to translate that, right? No? You have to translate what she said.
Yeah. So that's what I have.
On the comfort part. No, on the comfort part, that translation is done.
You should translate the comfort part.
Yeah. वो थोड़ा सा, please.
So what Seema was trying to convey to each one of us is that when we make our parties comfortable, or the people around us are comfortable, that itself speaks a lot about our thought processes, because see, ultimately it's all about thinking. There are several thoughts running in a day in our head. So most of them, if they are directed in a direction where we are able to help people, I think that itself would be a major part of component of spiritualism. If we misdirect them, then I would say that that is also something which would be other which ways. So I mean, giving direction to people where they are hurt, to kind of provide them the healing.
This will anyway, something will come to as we go along. तो सीमा, ये जो है मीडिएशन और मीडिएटर्स का कनेक्शन स्पिरिचुअलिटी से, इसको थोड़ा बाद में देखेंगे. आज सिर्फ स्पिरिचुअलिटी के ऊपर देख रहे हैं ताकि एटलीस्ट अपनी तरफ से एक लार्जर अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो जाए, उसके बाद आ जाएंगे उस पे. Yonka has joined us now.
Just so everybody knows, Vikram had said twice. He said first earlier that everyone should feel comfortable speaking in their own language, and just now now I forgot what you were saying because I said the first thing. And
it's okay, age is something that we have to deal with. We'll have to deal with age, Lisa.
About not going into mediation directly, about the connection to mediation, but staying with what is spirituality. So that's what I'm translating Vikram. Sorry.
Okay. Yonka, you want to? Yonka, we are discussing what is spirituality. Yonka just joined us.
May I say something? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, Yonka's just joined us. I just want to take a view. Yonka, what we are talking about is what your understanding of spirituality is. Only spirituality, not connected to mediators or mediation, just in general. What is your view?
Just feeling. It means feeling. Why? Because it means feeling. Because if you believe the spirituality, I think not only as a being of mediator, but also as a being of lawyer, you can develop yourself. You can create, imagine, and I think you can change your mindset. Because spirituality is one of the most important things for human being, in my opinion. For that reason, just only in my opinion, that's all. But I can develop my idea because I skipped the. I'm so sorry, I'll be late. But but I can catch your idea after 2 or 10 minutes.
No, you got the idea. You've got the absolute right idea. Just elaborate on it. You've got a good. What you're saying is absolutely what we want to hear.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You want to tell us more? Not a problem.
Yeah, I think that's enough now. That's enough. But I can give my contribution, another contribution after that. I will hear the another speech.
No, yeah, Yonka, what happened is everyone has spoken. So, and you were not there. So it's a good thing. At least you are not influenced by what everyone said. You have your own fresh thought on it. So that's why I want to hear it, because otherwise we'll go back to what everyone had said. So this was fresh. So okay, what do you want to elaborate a little more on that?
I think okay. I want to say one more thing. I think I do believe in where I am stopped, and how to get develop myself, and how to convince myself by means of spirituality. I think, and by means of this correlation, for instance, I'm here, and I'm delighted to participate your meeting, because so encouraging to me, and for that reason, I think some spiritual things, some feelings tie the whole people among the world. I think for that reason, if you believe in the spirituality and the highest feelings, I think we can get in connection the another people easily.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think somebody had mentioned the point of Buddha here, and Buddha, when we talk about Buddha, I think the gentleman could elaborate. It's also about detachment. You know, when we talk about spirituality, it is detaching oneself. And that is some thing which I think would also, because when it, of course, I wouldn't want to detail out on mediation, but that would, of course, become a big part of neutrality. Because when you're sitting on that seat, you have to completely detach yourself, but biases do come along because of several factors, which I think Mr. Vikram would detail it out in the next session. But
I want to detail out nothing. You people will detail out everything. I'm just a listener. That's all.
So you're a perfect mediator.
Exactly. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But Yemi wanted to say something. Yemi, please come in. There you go.
Yes, I was just going to take us back to what I said at the beginning, that I believe that spirituality is that which concerns everything beyond the outside, the physical, the material, the plainly human. That is spirituality, that which is behind it. Now, when we begin to get into the definition of what that thing is, whether you're talking of God or you're talking of anything else, or how to relate to it, or how to use it, or how to gain from it, then you're getting into religion. So that distinguishes, in my opinion, spirituality from religion. Then when someone spoke about body language, it again brought out the essence of spirituality, because I don't know how many of us watched the movie, the Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And you find that somehow in communicating with beings out there, which may not be spiritual beings, maybe other civilizations, and it couldn't be determined what language would be spoken. The one thing that was common, that is common to all, that they could relate to was sound, lights, and things like that. And in the same way, you find that body language is like that. There are many things within us, things not seen, but which are communicated, things that the moment they're done, they evoke certain recollections or experiences. And there are things, for example, we learn about, the things that we do. So body language itself actually, it reinforces the fact that yes, we cannot avoid spirituality because language is material, language is spoken, language can be heard, but there are thoughts that we express.
Okay. Yemi, what
Sorry,
we can
sir,
do?
let me finish because if
No,
I don't
I was
finish,
no, I don't want you to finish. What I wanted you to do is speak in your language, which we don't know, and say the same thing, and let us see what we understand from it. Same thing that you're going to be saying in the next moment that what you were going to say.
No. You see, unfortunately, in my language, apart from the fact that it's my language, I was brought up, I was educated in English. I went to school all my life in English. And the things I'm saying are not going to be better said in my language than they are said in English.
No, I was just trying to see whether we can actually feel it. I want to see, because what you just said is important. Do you really need to know the language to be able to understand the person? Actually, we're just an experiment. It's just an experiment. You can come back to English. Not a problem. I just want to see what it's like. It's going to be difficult. Definitely your words, you've been brought up in that kind of an environment where those words come to you naturally. The English words come to you naturally in your language. Maybe it might be a little difficult, but just try. I actually want to see this. I just want to see this.
Tí a bá rí àgbàlagbà tí ń sáré nínú ẹ̀kan, tí kì í bá lé nǹkan lé ní, ó tó ṣe lè mú tọ̀. Olóye ó ju olóye lọ. Ohun tá à ń sọ ó ju ohun tá à ń gbọ́ lọ. Ohun tá à ń rí àfojúrí ni àfọkànrí. Olúwa ju gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ. Ọlọ́run ẹlẹ́dàá gbogbo wa, òun là ń júbà. Ògo ni f'Olúwa ògo.
Adriana, what did you understand from that? No, seriously, Adriana was actually understanding what you were saying. She got that.
I was thinking about his expression and gestures, and it was so expressive. So I didn't have to understand, but it was very nice to hear and to look. He was very expressive with his body language and
precisely that was the precise intent, Adriana.
But that's what I'm saying, Adriana, which is what Yemi didn't understand. Yeah. When someone speaks in their own language, the way it comes out, the feeling that comes out is so different. And the fact that you want to just communicate is one aspect in terms of language, but in terms of the feeling that has to come out, has to come together with it. And that is where I think, that is why Yemi, I was wanting her to speak in Arabic. But the way it was coming out was so nice. Even if you didn't understand it, it was just a nice way of listening to it. But Allah has disappeared now. Otherwise, it would be nice for her to tell us something more on that, because she was searching on Google. Okay, now you can go back to whatever language you want to use.
Okay, so when I was speaking in my language, I deliberately put a lot more into the gestures to assist the persons who are listening to me. If I'm speaking in English, I don't need to do that because my words would convey it. But because I was speaking in a language that I knew you didn't understand, I needed to put a little bit more to it.
No, but there's no,
and it's the same thing. Please let me finish, sir.
Okay.
No, I'm a musician. I'm a musician also. I'm a trained concert pianist, and I play music. I also conduct choirs, and I can tell you that a lot of what you enjoy in a symphony orchestra has to do, or with a choir, has to do a lot with the conductor or the director. The way they direct, the energy they bring to it aids your appreciation of the music. So when you listen to Herbert von Karajan, for example, conduct Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, it has a different feel to it because of Herbert von Karajan. Not because the music is any different, but sometimes when you speak, there are times when the gestures help to convey the feeling better. And what I was trying to connect to is that is an immediate understanding of the bridge we get between the spiritual and the physical sometimes. It's that bridge that brings us from the seen to the unseen. Can you explain what happens to you as the effect of those gestures? No, you really can't. It just connects with something with you inside that makes you smile or that says something to you. You may not even be able to put words to it. That is spirituality.
So I'm going to leave in a minute. So may I say something before I go?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, may I leave? Oh, no. Okay. Just want to say something. Yeah, please. Okay.
Then I'm going to leave.
Spiritually you leave.
I can't spiritually leave because spiritually I'll still be here.
Exactly. Then why do you say that you're going to leave? You'll never leave. You'll be here.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, of course, I am not a practicing member of any religion. I consider myself a panentheist. So the N is the spiritual part. The N is that I believe that all the religions have the same thing. And so the way I look at it is from the standpoint of physics. If you look at anything, we know any object, even ourselves, what goes through it is this empty space. All these molecules are just moving fast. So we only appear to see a solid thing, but nothing is solid. And that space through which everything travels is through all of us and through everything. And when we connect with that space, that to me is where we're connecting with the spiritual essence, because that essence is everywhere. That essence is all around us. That essence is part of everything. So if you can connect yourself with that nothing, you are connecting to everything. That's my parting thought.
But that is something that Yemi was going to add. This is just like Coca-Cola. It is everywhere. Yes, Yemi?
It's even better than Coca-Cola.
Okay.
Only a moment's enjoyment, but
Vikram, I'd like to hear Adriana speak.
Yes. No, you were not. You might be a conductor for music. I am the conductor here.
I know, but I'm expressing my feeling. This is spirituality now. I can feel a spiritual connection.
Okay, let me also tell you
this. I can feel an energy. There's an energy that
it's coming from there. But let me always tell you that I have a button here which says mute. I can do that at any point of time. Yes, Adriana, please. Yeah.
I wanted to say about what Yemi said, and he's speaking in his language.
Why don't you talk in Croatian? Let's see. Like, why don't you say that?
Maybe later after I finish my thought. Okay, but what I wanted to say, this expression and this body language, it is so important. Really, it brings some kind of different energy when conductor applies it. But also every one of us, when we apply it in a matter of presentation of our standpoints, our views, you can feel this energy no matter which language are you speaking, but you can feel the energy in these words. So for mediation, for example, I think that it is very important for the how successful mediator will be, because when you express yourself through the expression of yourself, you express your honesty, and the honest how you come to your parties in this honest way, it can be felt in gestures, in expression without words. So expression is very important. And also, as Yemi is musician, and I like music also, and I love music. And you can feel the different performance when it is with a different expression. And you can pronounce a song in so many ways. You can do it in your own language and without any putting any feeling or soul in it. And for example, you can do it in totally language that is not familiar to you, but you can feel it so strongly.
But what I'm
because
saying,
of the way of
but Adhyani, I'm telling you, if you just say the same thing in Croatian, I'm telling you that feeling will come out better. Please say the same thing, whatever you were saying. Seriously, because it's coming in breaks. Let it flow. Let it just flow in Croatian. What were you saying? Yes, you can speak in Croatian.
This what I was saying.
No,
right
no, I don't
now.
want to hear. No English. We don't want to hear English. I want to hear the same thing in Croatian.
Mislim da je jedan od najvažnijih načina kako pristupiti ljudima iskrenost. I sa iskrenim pristupom stvarate povezanost neovisno o riječima koje kažete. Ono je razumljivo samo po sebi.
Okay. It sounds good. I mean, look, the fact is that languages by themselves sound good. I don't want to understand what you were saying. It just has to sound good. It's like music. It should just sound good. We don't have to understand the words. I mean, you don't understand so many words from so many songs. It just has to sound good.
That is what I was saying.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So don't even stop yourself. Don't stop yourself. Let's let it flow in whatever language it might be. We have to be able to understand each other without the words. But Alex, can you translate Spanish?
Yes.
Okay, there was someone who wanted to come in. She was saying that I don't speak English, so I've said that we have a translator available online.
Se puede hablar español que yo hago la translación, la traducción. I can make the translation to Spanish.
Her name is Isabel. She's listening on YouTube, but she doesn't want to come in because it's the issue is the language. You can tell Isabel she can come in.
Bienvenida, Isabel. Si usted quiere hablar algo, te pongas las palabras en español y me encargo de la traducción para el inglés. ¿Ok? Muchas gracias.
Yeah. So you joined us right now. Why do you want to? You'll have to, because we don't know Mr. iPhone. If that's your name, then it's a nice name you've chosen. But do you want to introduce yourself? Can we call you Mr. iPhone? We can call you Mr. iPhone. We're waiting for you to tell us who you are. You want to unmute yourself?
Describe his body language, Vikram. Maybe he'll recognize that it's him.
Okay. What do I say? You tell him. We're talking to him.
Unmute.
Well, I've pressed the button because maybe he doesn't know we're speaking to him.
Yes, that's right. There he goes.
Yes. You want to introduce yourself because I don't know who you are because iPhone I don't recognize the name.
Alex will need to translate that.
This one, the sounds of silence only
Okay.
Paul Simon can translate.
I will give a tip for everyone who is with an iPhone. If you come to the room with an iPhone on that position, if you put on that position, we can see you broadly. And Vikram is trying to make connection with you, sir. Yes, you that move right now. If you can tell us something, your name, it will be great.
Yeah.
In Spanish.
We don't know what language, no? That's the problem because iPhone is all over the world. Now we don't know what language we have to speak in. Yes, sir.
Yes, that's good. We are seeing you much better.
We see you with the purple shirt.
Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're all going to keep quiet. We'll use the energy to tell him that we want him to talk. Everyone just has to transfer their energy there. Mr. iPhone, please say who you are. Tell us who you are. Are you there? The kind of thing. Okay, I think no. Okay, maybe later. Maybe later.
Vikram, you can send him a message privately in the chat.
Vikram, greetings. This is Sarosh Zaiwala.
Yes, you're looking so different. You're looking so different. Mr.
Why?
Zaiwala is a barrister in United Kingdom, but you're looking so different like this.
What do I look very old now?
Very different, I'm telling you. Very different. Either it's Sunday afternoon, maybe it's Sunday afternoon, or it's evening now.
It's afternoon. It's about 4 o'clock now.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Zaiwala, we need to hear you because this is something that
Sorry.
Today you
I've been
heard the whole
following it up, and I think you are doing a very good job to bring about mediation. As you know, I'm also a senior mediator.
Yep.
And I think mediation is the future. And I think the secret of mediation is to get the people to themselves recognize the issues and not for mediator to suggest solution.
But Mr. Zaiwala, today we are not on that. Today we are only on what you think is spirituality. And you are not here because you're a good mediator. You're here because you're a good human being. That's why you're here.
That's true. That's true. And I owe everything to what I call grace of God. And I think the most important is to have a pure, kind, and radiant heart and have honesty and integrity. And today I have been in the last 40 years, I've been able to establish a practice in what was a very sort of privileged city of London is because of integrity and honesty to not only to your client, but to the other side too, and to be fair and just with people. So I think spirituality plays a very, very important part. And I often said to my friends and closely that people come to me with difficult cases. And for example, just now the Venezuelan government has come to me with a case of 1.9 billion of gold and the transfer from a big firm. And I didn't know the answer, but provided I have only good motives that I want to do my best and there is justice required, then the answer comes. And the answer comes from somewhere, which is called spirituality.
Yeah.
And I think all of us have that capacity. There's no one person who has a greater capacity. We only have to learn to tap into our spirituality to get the answer. And that means that there should be no greed. You just do your best, you get paid for it, and that's it. No other expectation. When you have expectation, the spirituality is disconnected.
Yep.
So my support for this project of yours, I said I must join you for a few minutes. I'm at my country house in Sussex on the seaside now.
Oh, you don't have to rub it in, Mr. Zaiwala. You don't have to rub it into us. You're enjoying yourself in the countryside.
No, I'm just saying in 10 minutes time, I'm driving to London. So I won't be with you for long, but I said I'll just join you. That's the reason.
You should have joined us earlier because these are the words of wisdom that we needed. This is exactly because today the whole discussion is only about what is spirituality according to each of us. Each of you, not me, each of you. And then we'll create the link between that and mediators and mediation. And you did not hear everyone. Yeah.
No, I didn't. Can I just say one other thing for myself? That like even the Indian ancient Veda says that it is our self-realization is the most important. And he has known God who has known himself. So we have to know our inner self and connect with our soul. It's difficult, but we connect with our soul and self-realization, then we connect with the universe. And that is spirituality.
Yes, absolutely. These are the things that we wanted to hear. Exactly. So, but anyone wants to ask Mr. Zaiwala something? I'm saying I've written Zarosh there, but I'm just.
Yeah, but I'm not a great person or something. You people are much bigger.
Your honesty, the ethics that you practice with, it's a very important thing. People should know that. And if it comes from spirituality, then that spirituality is very important.
Of course, it comes from spirituality. And the spirituality is, everybody is capable of that. There's no exception. And we all have the capacity to develop it and build on it.
Yep.
I'm a Parsi and I believe in good thoughts, good words, and good deeds.
But I think, Mr. Zaiwala, you have to tell them who Parsis are, because a lot of them will not know.
No, Parsis are a small community which came from Iran some 800 years ago to India and settled down. And they are what most important in the Parsi community is that you have to keep your word. That's the critical thing. And so with integrity, one of the biggest industrial group in India is Tata, which is Parsi, the gold rich. And I'll tell you some further information, just for information and not bragging. But the British Parliament, before Keith Vaz became Member of Parliament, had 3 Indian members of Parliament. It was 1892, Dadabhai Nauroji, who formed the Congress Party for the freedom. Second was Manchesha Bhavnagri from Conservative, 1895. And 1934, one of the 2 only members of the Communist Party in the British Parliament was, and all 3 were Parsis. So we are
that's
small
what people,
community.
no, that's what people need to know, that the ethics that you do, ethics in business, everyone knows the Tata name because they know that, okay, it's an ethical organization. But I think the background of the Parsis in India, I think people should know that also, that when they came in, the way they merged into society and all that aspect of it, I think people should know that.
We are Indians, and it doesn't matter. We are part of the Indian community. But it's a small community. There are only about 106,000 Parsis remaining in the world. And these are Parsis who came from Iran and settled some 600 or 800 years ago. They landed on the coast of Gujarat in boats to escape the Arab persecution. And they have survived and benefited from India. And we are Indians in every respect.
And people should know that, because the way people merge into the Indian society, into the Indian culture, it's a very important thing that people should know. Because I mean, imagine. But how many out of the Parsis in the world are in India?
I think about 55,000. 55,000 were in Bombay. So I think Delhi is about 3,000 or 4,000. At one time, every small cities town had Parsis, but not anymore, because most of them have moved to big cities.
I think people will also not know because of the fact that why are there not so many Parsis? A lot of issues there also.
Because we are not allowed to marry outside. Of course, I married a Hindu girl. I'm single now.
Because you married a Hindu girl, is it? Don't put it on the Hindu girl.
No. But in order to be a Parsi, the father must be a Parsi.
That is
for the children. So you can't marry out for. And the reason for that is also not religion. But when the Parsis first came, the Islamic Arabs had come before to India. And the local ruler, the local Rana in the Gujarat coast said, no, there is no place. So the Parsis gave 3 oaths. One, that we will not convert. On that principle, a non-Parsi is not allowed to enter a Parsi fire temple. For the fear that if he comes, he might be impressed, he will want to convert. So that's not allowed. Secondly, the Rana said that we will not touch Indian girls. On that basis, there's a forbidden, because the Zoroastrian faith, there is no forbidden to marry anyone. On that basis, the Parsis keep the oath not to touch an Indian girl. So no
but you went against that. So you have to go, you've broken the contract.
I did that because on an evolved basis, I did that.
No, but
and the third is that we will be like a sugar in a milk, and we live without any controversy.
So this is exactly what I wanted people to hear. But basically, what happened was they obviously were saying there's so many people and this and that. How will you merge into society and everything? He got a glass of milk and he got sugar in that, and he stirred it. And
the ruler sent a glass of milk saying it is full to the brim. There is no place. So he sent it back with sugar in it and said, we will mix and we will make its life sweeter.
Yeah, that's an interesting, very nice. So anyone wants to, Kathleen, you want to ask Mr. Zaiwala something?
I'm fascinated listening to you. I don't even have an intelligent question right now. How did you end up becoming a barrister?
Well, my father was the first ever Indian to qualify as a solicitor in England. In those days, in 1925, when he qualified, there used to be barristers, Indian barristers, but not solicitors. And then he worked for 2 years with an English solicitors firm. And then he came back in Bombay and started Zaiwala and Company. It was a small, in those days, it was a one-man firm with one clerk and one managing clerk. And now my brother runs that firm. So, and then he was the youngest in his family. He came from a family of farmers in Gujarat, Maharashtra and Gujarat. And so I, being the youngest in my family, decided to qualify as a solicitor. And actually, I wanted to come back and enter Indian politics. But then I stayed back in England.
Please stay back. Please do not do that. We want you far away from politics.
I know, I'm glad, because politics in India, my friend, was different when I was there as a student.
It was?
It was very principled. And I was very much keen to get into the politics.
That's not bad. That's okay. We've seen those times.
I have seen those times. It was very fair. And there was tremendous integrity and honesty.
But Kato is in Japan. He definitely wants to say something. Kato, you wanted to?
Well, it's about time for me to go to bed. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Right? I thoroughly enjoyed our discussion there, and also the experiment we had was that which each of us was given a chance to speak in our own language with body language as well. That is very interesting for me because I speak in a very different way. The English language is my second language, and I become tense when I speak in English. And that's, I try to calm myself, right? And find a room so that I can explore a bit of spirituality there.
Very good.
Right. Thank you so much. And I will say konbanwa or oyasuminasai. Yeah, good night.
Thank you for joining us, Kato, and you joining us next Sunday also. But also on Saturday we have a judge from Croatia as my guest in that Evolution of a Mediator. He's a judge from Croatia. Okay. Very nice person. I mean, a beautiful soul. You must come there. And obviously Sunday we'll have this session. We'll take it forward. Yeah.
Right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Right. I do my best, yes. And yeah, look forward to seeing you again, right?
Vikram, I'm also going to take your leave.
No, but Mr. Zaiwala, you will see the YouTube the recording because everyone had discussed. Yeah, everyone had discussed their concept of spirituality. Then we take it forward from there.
Very good. I will certainly do that.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But I thought you would meet Yemi also. Yemi, you want to say hi to Mr. Zaiwala? Yemi is a very distinguished mediator in Nigeria.
Oh wow,
Yemi! I'm not sure about very distinguished. I'm a mediator in Nigeria.
Yemi, I have been to Nigeria many times.
Fantastic.
I have been many times. In fact, believe it or not, I also had the meeting with President Yaradua, which happened to be the last meeting he had because next day he was going to Saudi Arabia, and I met him with James Ibori.
Oh, okay.
And I acted for Lucky Benedion, Mike Adenoga, Victor Atta, Donald Duke.
But Yemi, why don't you show your face to him? He would also like to see you.
Nigeria is a very lovely country.
Well, it is. And there is a very long connection between Nigeria and India.
Yeah.
Very, very long history and connection between Nigeria and India.
Bola Ajibola and I were colleagues on the International Court of Arbitration.
Whoa.
And Bola is, yeah. So I'm delighted to meet you.
I'm delighted to meet you. I'm delighted to meet you too. I'd love to continue this conversation beyond here. I'm about to step away from here, but I'm going to make sure that I find you. And
what you want to make you have your personal connections happening. You don't want to be part of the discussion. You must say that you must come here. You must discuss these things with us. Collaborate. Don't try to run away from us.
Vikram, that is a granted. I don't think you're preaching to the converted. I don't think I need or anybody here needs to be persuaded or convinced to come here. But the conversations that I'd love to have with Sarah Zaiwala are not conversations we're going to be able to have.
No, you must. He's a very beautiful soul. He's a
yes. So I'd love to continue this conversation outside of here, and I think it would be my delight. It's good to know what dealing with Yaradua and James Ibori and things like that. I can see he understands what I'm saying. I need to talk.
Can I also tell you that I also met James Ibori in jail? He wanted to see me in jail, and I went to Cambridge to the jail to meet him, and he was still the same person.
So why should you have these discussions separately? We also want to hear these interesting stories.
Nigeria is a great country.
You know the gentleman who was the governor in Bayelsa State who also had a similar issue. I was involved in some of his matters and trying to raise things as to the effect of amnesty on certain issues and on certain things. And we need to talk. We need to talk off.
Why off? This is in. Why off? Why off? Tell me why off? Involve people. I'm trying to involve people, and you want to have
Vikram, mediation is about confidentiality.
Okay. No. These are all friends. These are all friends. Everyone.
I know. This is exciting. This is exciting.
It is.
And I believe that as we go forward on this, you see one of the greatest impacts I have here. It's not so much the technical thing, which is good. And also that you can't, but at the same time, you can't get away from that. Because you see, when we are all dealing with these things and we are beginning to go across territories like this, you begin to see that, yes, there are people that we're close to. He's talked about people up in what we call Aso Rock, which is the seat of government in Abuja. And there are people there that we are we're very close to and we're friends with as well. And there might be some interesting synergies going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All
right. But I have to apologize, Vikram, but I need to go because this is Sunday. And I need to prepare for another service, which is going to begin at 6.
Okay.
And I do have to go.
Okay.
Adriana, I'm going to be speaking to you later as well. Thank you.
So, Mr.
Sarmal,
before you leave, what I'm going to do is on the evolution of a mediator. Can you come in on 10th April?
Can you possibly send me an email, Vikram?
Yeah. I'll do that.
And I'll just check my diary and let you know. I will try my best. I think you're doing an excellent job, and I'd like to support you in every possible manner.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That's what I need. That's just get good
thank
people
you, and
together.
God bless.
That's
okay.
Thank you, and
All
God
right.
bless.
Bye. And thank you, everyone. All of us has left. Vikram,
Bye-bye.
thank you once again.
See you,
again
Mr. Abala.
Soon.
Bye, Yemi.
Have gone.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Jania. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Pablo's just come in, but Pablo, you want to say hi to us? Pablo is in Brazil. Alex, do you know Pablo?
Estoy en Colombia. Hablo desde Colombia.
Colombia. Yeah. How are you? Why did you come so late?
Happy to be here. My English is so bad.
That's why Alex is there. Alex is going to translate for everyone. Alex is just gone somewhere, but he's translating for everyone. But which language do you speak?
Thank you.
Which language do you speak?
Spanish.
Oh, Alex is very good at Spanish. Alex, please.
Yo estoy feliz de estar acá y tengo un movimiento que se llama Mediación en Colombia, que procura que haya mediación en Colombia lo más pronto, mediación privada. Okay?
Yep. I think if Alex comes back, he can actually translate that. But how are things in Colombia? Everything good?
Colombia está muy bien. Colombia tiene 30 años de experiencia en conciliación, más no en mediación. Entonces estamos tratando de que haya mediación porque es más flexible, es más interdisciplinaria, más al acceso de todos los ciudadanos, no tanto tema de abogados solamente.
Okay, I think Alex has just taken a break, but it's good that if he could translate that. But anyway, nice of you to come, and please join us next week on the next Saturday, Sunday, both.
Okay, gracias, muy amable.
And you're also doing amazing things. So I saw those YouTube videos and all that you had. It's very nice that you're promoting mediation so much.
Thank you very much.
Right. I wish Alex had come in. I don't know if by the way he's gone somewhere, but I would love to have spoken to you. But this translation is the biggest issue that we have. But I think language should not come in the way. That is what I'm trying to put across. But I'll see you then next week then.
Next week.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.